Assalamu alaikum. You're listening to a fresh episode of the first edition of Newsletter. This one is about Netflix as a game changer of film, TV, and documentary production in the globalized world. And I will start off by talking about Netflix production of Gabriel Garcia Marquez's 100 Years of Solitude. You have to praise Netflix for being brave and ingenuous enough to even think of greenlighting Gabriel Garcia Marquez's 1967 magnum opus, 100 Years of Solitude. 6 years after it was first announced, Netflix released the small-screen adaptation in 2024. It tells the story of 7 generations of the fictional Buendia family and the small town Macondo. I love Marquez, and I love the fact that after his death, his family did not become sellouts. When handing over the project to Netflix, they ensured that Colombian actors be hired and Colombian locations be used. The reverence and attention to detail shown by Netflix team in creating this project is mind-blowing. As Fernanda Perez Sanchez writes in Vogue magazine, published on 14th December 2024, quote, Francisco Ramos, Netflix's Vice President of Content for Latin America, told Perez Sanchez that it was important for Rodrigo Garcia Barcha, Marquez's son, that the production give back to the local community. Rodrigo was keen that the series not only be Colombian, but also contribute to the development of the country's cultural industry, leaving a significant industrial and professional legacy. We believe cultural industries are crucial, as they not only create jobs but also promote greater sophistication in how we communicate as human beings. Unquote. This is evident in the creation of the house and later in the creation of the greater town of Macondo. Materials like tiles and palm thatch were sourced from local suppliers, while other elements such as bed linens and ceramics were crafted by local artisans. In total, over 150 artisans from various communities contributed to the production. Unquote. The series has 2 directors, Alex Garcia Lopez and Laura Mora, and 5 screenwriters, Jose Rivera, Natalia Santa, Camila Bruges, Maria Camila Arias, and Albertos Gonzalez. I'll call this production a brave and ambitious endeavor because it has a lot to live up to. As Fernanda Perez Sanchez writes in Vogue magazine, quote, part of the Macondo town set was built in the well-known mountains of Ibagué. I cannot soften the B and G in the name, so I'm going with the literal pronunciation. And the municipality of Alvarado, about half an hour from Ibagué. The rest of the locations are spread across Colombia. 4 different versions of Macondo were created to reflect the passage of time. Everything was built from scratch. The producer Carolina Caicedo explains to Sanchez that, quote, the main construction of Macondo and the Buendia house is located on a site called Finca Arizona, unquote. It's roughly a 130 acres land, an operation that involved 1,100 people at its peak. Construction on the town began in November 2022, covering about 10 acres. As the article notes, quote, the house is at its greenest, with the plants in the front and back gardens, corn, coffee, bananas, begonias, all taken from the novel. To guarantee its authenticity, the landscaping was overseen by a Colombian, Marta Duque, who in turn relied on the book Flora de Macondo by Santiago Madrinan. This 2014 publication meticulously analyzes the species in Garcia Marquez's story. Unquote. Even the toys and figures in Pietro Crespi's shop were sourced from antique dealers, restored by Colombian artists, or made in wood by artisans. According to a report done by Miguel Vicencio for Vogue Mexico, dated 22nd of December 2024, the cast is made up of 70% natural actors making their on-screen debut and only 30% professional talent. This is another important aspect of Netflix's commitment to authenticity in this project. According to a report by Stuart Clark, dated 13th December 2024, which was posted on deadline, the production team itself was 900% strong. It further reads, quote, Netflix is keen to talk up its contribution to local production as it continues to invest outside of its domestic US. It has previously documented the boost to local economies its investment has brought to various parts of the world. Filming the adaptation of 100 Years of Solitude in Colombia delivered a 225 billion peso, which is $51.8 million US, economic boost to the country. Netflix Latin America said that this figure is a measure of the impact to Colombian GDP and includes both the impact of its direct spending on the production and of the spending in the downstream supply chain. The number excludes the budget for the series, which has never been broken out. Unquote. Netflix is a game changer for a variety of reasons, not least because of its adverse impact on Hollywood. Nowadays, less people go out to watch movies in a theatre because they can watch anything and everything from various parts of the world at home. The Netflix content is broader, more diverse, and more eclectic than anything Hollywood or BBC ever sent out for distribution around the world. There was a time in Pakistan when Pakistan's TV used to have just one channel, the state-owned channel called Pakistan Television, and during 70s and 80s it regularly showed foreign English language content such as classic Hollywood films and series like Saint, British comedies such as Yes Prime Minister, Mind Your Language, etc., children's TV series like Enid Blyton's Famous Five, and hit Australian TV series All the Rivers Run and The Man from Snowy River. All of these were shown in the original English language without subtitles or dubbing. All that changed with Japanese hit Oshin, which was received well in Pakistan. Oshin is a lovely woman of substance story, highlighting Japan's journey as a country. Also a regular was Canadian TV series Anne of Green Gables. Some of these were shown in primetime slots. Think 8 o'clock, in military leader Ziaul Haq Sahib's time. As great as all of this was, it was entertainment from a certain part of the world, representing a certain fiction and entertainment, and someone somewhere in the Pakistani government or state-owned network had decided to air these shows on local TV. At the height of the Cold War and Afghan Jihad, in Islamabad in those days, you could get membership of British Council and American Centre and enjoy literature and videos in their library and attend their lectures and seminars. This was also the time when Indian films were banned in Pakistan, but were regularly smuggled into Pakistan and were available in every VHS video shop in Rawalpindi, where I grew up. So much so that a film released in India on Friday afternoon would be available in Rawalpindi by Friday evening. On Pakistani screens in those days, one could see Punjabi movies, which were dissed by the classes but were hits with the masses. An over-the-top cinematic experience that had an audience, unlike today's telefilms in Pakistan released in cinema in the name of a film industry. The next big thing to occur in Pakistani infotainment was the launch of STN, later known as NTM, the first cable TV channel that showed CNN transmission for majority of the day. The first Iraq War and the O.J. Simpson trial and the Larry King Show were the big takeaways from that time period. With the advent of paid-for TV and cable TV, Indian TV series became available via Star Plus and Hollywood's drama content became available through Star World. In the 90s, Kyunke Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu The, Bold and Beautiful, and Baywatch were hits in Pakistan. But these shows were not representative of the people, the place, or the culture from where they originated. Neither were they truly global. Even Hollywood, a great provider of entertainment and dramatic performances, has got away with casting 2 Jewish actors as Chinese in the film adaptation of Pearl S. Buck's The Good Earth. Jennifer Jones as a Chinese woman opposite William Holden in Love is a Many-Splendored Thing, or Jones again as a half-Native American girl in A Duel in the Sun. One can almost forgive the industry for hiring Elizabeth Taylor as Cleopatra, just because of Taylor's stature as a beautiful, glamorous, diva-esque performer. And you can also brush aside Charlton Heston's depiction of non-white historical and biblical figures as a sign of the times and audience demographic. You can also argue that Angelina Jolie as the biracial Marion Pearl in The Mighty Heart created more buzz around the film that helped sell it to an audience and helped spotlight Daniel Pearl, journalist who was kidnapped and murdered in Pakistan. But there's no logic to Emma Stone as a multi-heritage, part Hawaiian, part Chinese and part Swedish woman in Aloha. This cultural and physical misappropriation has nothing to do with increasing diversity or lack of diversity or white actors sponging off roles not meant for them. It has nothing to do with talent. I mean, I'm not one of those people who want only a blind actor being given the role of a blind person, because after all, acting is all about performative make-believe. I'm talking about a time when actors usurped identities because the key audience wanted to see only white people perform the major roles. The impact of globalization and mass immigration on Hollywood was just that the white savior hero's sidekick and best friend was now a geeky Indian, a hyper-strung South Korean, a funny Latino, as opposed to a black actor. Hollywood machine is such that an artist or project becomes popular as a product of film studios or established TV networks. Independent works featured in festivals like Sundance only gain a following because of word of mouth. Netflix is a different beast altogether. It has actually invested in people from around the world, in their colors and wrinkles, in their languages and ways, in their bodies and shapes and sizes, in cities and countries from around the world to bring their stories to a broader international market, but also to US as a ratings hit. It's literally making US entertainment media sit up and feel the heat of competition from another part of the world that they never considered their equal. Plus, unlike Hollywood's obsession with casting white actors and actresses in key roles, or the current obsession with DEI hires just to check boxes, in Netflix series, film or documentaries, you see the local talent, the local concept of beauty, the local culture of being or existing or doing anything. Gone is the John Wayne way of doing things, the Rambo of yesteryears, the adventurous kid up against the machines from Transformers, the white superhero savior out to rescue the world from extinction. Nobody cares about them anymore. They had their time, they had their fans, they had their glory and box office success. Netflix understood the changes brought on by migration, increased purchasing power, and economic strength of another part of the world, and adapted and invested accordingly. Japan, South Korea, China, Hong Kong, Turkey, Spain, and Scandinavian countries already churn out multi-layered characters and storylines and are more open to showing their history, their politics and war, their massacres and social ills without the propaganda and glamour. Their romances are uninhibited and have more depth than the hee-haw slam-bam Hollywood version of romance and sex. Their films and series touch on topics beyond law enforcement, legal fraternity, and medicine, the three most oft-used genres in Hollywood. So they are already ahead of the US entertainment industry of connecting with a global audience on a more intimate level. And Netflix has provided a global platform to these countries to create their content in their sensibility for a global audience. Netflix has a good business model to stay relevant by showing celebrity documentaries that are produced by the said celebrity. The recent ones that I can think of are the ones by Charlie Sheen, Victoria Beckham, Meghan Markle's cooking show. And Netflix is now venturing towards its own shops that will sell products, that is PPLs, shown in its series and films. The Netflix version that is being shown in Pakistan, it does update American documentaries quite regularly So any true crime series making a buzz at a water cooler near you in an American office is available here in Pakistan too. I am looking forward to Pakistan's first Netflix production, Jo Bache Hain Sang Samet Lo, which is based on Farhat Ishtiaq's Urdu language novel of the same name. The series features who's who of current Pakistani TV actors and actresses, including Mahira Khan and Fawad Khan. I have no idea why there isn't more Pakistani content on Netflix, but hopefully things will change soon. Recently, I watched Bads of Bollywood, which is also titled as Bastards of Bollywood, and was blown away by the irreverent way that reverence was shown to the unique peculiarities of Hindi cinema and people who live and work in that industry. It's a love letter to an industry which is currently in a state of rapid decline because of its lack of innovation and originality in filmmaking and stories. Its fast food franchise burger mentality towards producing films, where everyone looks, acts, talks, walks, and dances the same way. Its reliance on star kids, corporations, and products to make cheap, easy, and fast money. That's why Hindi film industry is in a state of rapid decline. Nobody cares about it anymore. Having been around for 100 years, Hindi cinema is no longer about great films. Indian entertainment landscape right now seems to be in the grip of a propaganda fest and has lost its ability to connect with the audience by bringing something authentic and genuine. Since Indian dramas have always sucked, it is a pleasant surprise to see a funny and original show that is part homage, part nostalgia, part lampoon, and part over-the-top hijinks. Of course, unless you have followed the last 40 years of Indian film industry, you will probably not get half of the inside jokes and side-eye winks. B.O.B. reminded me of the Hollywood classic satire action movie Tropic Thunder. The best thing to have happened to the Hindi industry in a decade or more is the South Indian director Sandeep Manga, whose films Kabir Singh and Animal are currently being shown on Netflix. I'll recommend The White Tiger, based on Aravind Adiga's 2008 English language novel of the same name. It won the Man Booker Prize that same year. I read the 2012 paperback version, published in the Great Britain by Atlantic Books. It's a brave exposition on how Hindu caste system keeps people behind and how one boy resorts to crime to make it as a successful businessman. In conclusion, I'll say that the more we see foreign content, the more empathetic we are bound to get, because we look at a face that does not look like our own, speaking in a language not ours, going through pain and pleasure, hypocrisy and irony, just like us. The impact of Netflix is beyond entertainment. It's about perceiving and applauding humanity and talent and understanding that we are not that different after all.